There's 5 repairs I banned from my own invoices as a GMC dealer tech, because you should never pay for a single one. The dealer's still charging for them. I'm Dale, 28 years deep. Let me be clear about what this list is, because I'm not here to tell you the dealer is out to get you. Some of these repairs are perfectly legitimate in the right situation. What I'm showing you is when they turn into a ripoff, pushed too early, useless on your engine, actually harmful, or when a cheap diagnosis gets skipped on the way to the expensive fix. I stood on that floor and watched these get written up, and refused to do some of them. Here's every one, counting down to the one that saves the most. Number 5 is the fuel injection cleaning service, sometimes called an induction service. This is the classic upsell, the one that gets tacked onto almost every visit, whether you asked for it or not. Usually somewhere between $150 and $300. Now here's the honest part, because I won't tell you it's always worthless. On a direct injection engine, the Gen 5 stuff, that's genuinely carboned up, a real cleaning does help. Those engines spray fuel straight into the cylinder, so nothing washes the back of the intake valves, and carbon builds up there over time. When that's actually the problem, a proper cleaning is a real fix, and worth paying for. But that's not what the dealer is selling you. They're selling it as a routine service, added to every oil change, on every truck. And on a port injection engine, your LM7, your 6.0, your L92, it's basically useless as routine maintenance, because those engines already wash their own valves with fuel on every cycle. You're paying $200 for a service that does nothing your engine wasn't already doing for free, every single time you fill the tank. It's the definition of a service you're buying twice. Here's what I do instead, and what the smart owner does. If you want cheap injection maintenance, run a bottle of a quality fuel system cleaner through the tank every so often. Or just run top-tier gas. That's about $10 and it does the same routine cleaning job. Save the real service for when carbon is actually diagnosed, not when it shows up as a line item on a menu. And diagnosed means something specific. A bore scope down the intake showing real carbon on the valves, or a measurable, felt drivability problem, not a service advisor's hunch and a suggestive brochure. Real carbon cleaning on a genuinely dirty direct injection engine is worth every penny. The routine version sold to everybody is worth nothing. Ban the routine $200 version. Keep the real cleaning for when it's genuinely needed. And here's how the upsell actually happens, so you can see it coming. The service advisor isn't a mechanic. He's a salesman with a screen full of recommended services, and injection cleaning is high margin, so it's near the top of what he's pushed to sell. He'll tell you it restores lost power, or improves your mileage, and on a healthy engine, it does neither in any way you'd ever feel. When you hear that pitch, the answer is simple and polite. No thanks. I run top-tier fuel. That one sentence tells him you know the game, and it ends the conversation. The dealers make real money on owners who don't know that a $10 habit replaces a $200 line item, and now you're not one of them. The real maintenance your GMC actually needs, and the intervals that prove what it doesn't, is in my GMC blueprint. Links in the description. Back to the list. Number 4 is the flush menu. Coolant flush, brake fluid flush, power steering flush, the whole BG service package. These get pushed at you at basically every visit, presented on a printed menu with things helpfully marked as due. And again, honesty first. These fluids genuinely do need to be changed. Coolant breaks down. Brake fluid absorbs moisture over time. This is real maintenance, and I'm not telling you to never do it. The ripoff isn't the flush itself, it's the timing. It's the dealer billing you for these flushes far earlier than GM's actual interval calls for, or billing you again for a flush you already had done 20,000 miles ago. Here's the trick they count on. The word due on the dealer's service menu does not mean due on GM's maintenance schedule. The dealer's menu is a sales tool, tuned to generate revenue on every visit. GM's actual schedule is a different thing entirely. The Dex Cool coolant, for example, runs on the order of 5 years or 150,000 miles before it needs changing. If your truck's coolant was done 2 years ago and the service writer says it's due, it's not due. It's due on their menu. What the smart owner does is know the real GM intervals for each fluid and refuse any flush that isn't actually due yet. You keep your own records, when each fluid was last changed, and when the dealer says you need a flush, you check it against the real interval, not their menu. Do the flushes when they're genuinely due. Ban the premature ones. You'll cut your service bills significantly just by knowing the real numbers. And watch for the double dip, because it's the sneakiest version of this. You bring the truck in, they do a coolant flush. 18 months later, you're back for something unrelated, and there it is on the menu again, marked due. Most owners don't keep records, so they never catch it. They just pay for the same flush twice inside 2 years. The fix is boring, but it works. Keep a simple log, in your glove box or your phone, of every fluid service and the mileage it was done at. When the advisor says a flush is due, you pull up your log and ask when their records show it was last done. 9 times out of 10, that question alone gets the line item quietly removed. The other trap on the flush menu is the package deal. Coolant, brake, and power steering bundled at a discount that still adds up to hundreds, whether or not any of them are actually due. A discount on services you don't need yet isn't a deal. It's just a smaller ripoff. Buy fluids on GM's schedule, one at a time as each comes due, and skip the bundle. We're past the small stuff now, and the 3 biggest ones are still coming. Hit subscribe and turn on the bell. I tell you every week what the dealer hopes you never learn. Number 3 is the one that can actually damage your engine. The engine flush, or crankcase flush. This is where they run a strong solvent through your oil system to clean out built-up sludge, then drain it and refill. And this one I want you to be careful with, because on a high-mileage engine that's been neglected, an aggressive crankcase flush can do real harm. Here's the mechanism. An engine that's run dirty for a long time builds up sludge, and in a strange way that sludge has reached a kind of stable state. It's caked in place. When you hit it with a powerful flush, you break all of that loose at once. And all those loosened chunks of sludge have to go somewhere. They head straight for the oil pickup screen and the small passages in the oil system, and they clog them. So instead of cleaning the engine, you've just choked off its oil supply, which is the exact opposite of what you wanted. A flush on a sludged-up engine is more likely to cause an oil pressure failure than to prevent one. So here's what the smart owner does with a neglected high-mileage engine. You do not hit it with an aggressive flush. You transition it to clean oil gently. You switch to fresh oil and simply run shorter change intervals for a while, letting the oil do the cleaning slowly and carrying the contaminants out a little at a time, safely, without dumping a mountain of debris into the pickup all at once. Do that over 3 or 4 oil changes, and the engine cleans itself up the right way, at the pace it can handle. A high detergent oil helps, but the real tool is just frequency. Fresh oil, more often, for a while. It's patient, and it's cheap, and it never once risks the catastrophic clog that an aggressive solvent flush can cause overnight. Now, if the dealer's pushing a crankcase flush on your high-mileage truck, that's the one to ban outright. The gentle approach costs you almost nothing and protects the engine. The aggressive flush costs you money and might just hand you a repair bill for the oil pressure failure it caused. And here's the part that makes this one worse than a simple upsell. It can turn a running truck into a dead one. I've seen it happen. An older truck comes in running fine, a little tired, a little sludgy, and somebody talks the owner into a flush to clean it up. A week later, it's back with a knocking bottom end, because all that loosened debris starved an oil passage and a bearing paid the price. Now the owner's staring at an engine bill for a truck that was running the day he brought it in. That's the nightmare version, and it's exactly why I refuse to run these on high-mileage engines no matter who asked. The rule is simple. The dirtier and higher mileage the engine, the more dangerous an aggressive flush becomes, which is the precise opposite of how it gets sold. If yours is a clean, well-maintained engine, you don't need it. If yours is a dirty one, you really don't want it. There's almost no truck where the aggressive version is the right move. Number 2 is the replace the whole assembly racket, and this is where the numbers start getting serious. Here's how it works. Something small fails inside a larger unit, and instead of diagnosing and replacing the small failed part, the dealer quotes you the entire assembly. The perfect example is your air conditioning. Your AC stops blowing cold, and the dealer comes back with a quote to replace the whole compressor, $1,500 to $1,700. But a lot of the time, the compressor under the hood was never the problem at all. No cold air can come from something as small as a bad relay, a low charge from a cheap leaking O-ring, or, and this is the one they love to miss, a blend door actuator, a $25 to $80 part buried up inside the dash that mixes hot and cold air. That actuator has nothing to do with the compressor. It's a different system entirely, inside the cabin. So when a dealer quotes you a $1,700 compressor for what turns out to be an $80 actuator in the dash, that's not even the honest, expensive box game. That's a flat-out misdiagnosis you're being billed for. Either way, you were about to pay $1,700 for a problem that lived somewhere else entirely. And the true expensive box version, a genuinely small part inside a larger unit, shows up all over the truck too. A headlight bulb burns out, and you get quoted the entire headlight assembly instead of a bulb. A wheel bearing goes noisy, and you get quoted the whole hub. A single window regulator clip breaks, and you get quoted the full door module. The pattern is the same either way. Whether it's a misdiagnosis or a padded box, a cheap fix gets written up as an expensive one, plus the fat labor line to install a part that was never the problem. And I'll be fair, because sometimes the whole assembly genuinely is the right call. Occasionally, the expensive part really did fail, or the small part isn't separately serviceable. The ripoff is when a cheap, replaceable component was the actual culprit, and they quote the assembly anyway, because the assembly is a bigger ticket. What the smart owner does is demand component-level diagnosis. You ask the direct question, what exactly inside that assembly failed? If they can't name the specific failed component, they haven't actually diagnosed it. They've just decided to sell you the whole box. Make them find the actual failed part before you approve replacing everything around it. That one question has saved people well over $1,000 on a single repair. And once you start listening for it, you'll hear the whole assembly game everywhere. A window won't go up. You get quoted a whole door module when it's a $10 window regulator clip. A wheel bearing gets noisy. You get quoted the entire hub assembly when the bearing alone was serviceable. A single ignition coil fails. You get quoted a full set of 8 while we're in there. Some of those bundles are convenience. Some are pure padding. The tell is always whether they can point to the specific failed part, or whether they're selling you the whole neighborhood because one house had a problem. And there's a labor angle too. The bigger the assembly, the bigger the labor line, and labor is where the real margin lives. So when you force a component-level diagnosis, you're not just saving on the part, you're cutting the fat labor bill that rides along with the oversized job. Make them show you the failed part. If they can't, they don't know what's wrong, and you're not paying to have them guess with the expensive box. And don't be shy about getting a second opinion from an independent shop on any assembly quote over a few $100s. Independents don't have the same pressure to sell you the whole unit, and they'll often fix the actual failed component for a fraction of the dealer's bundled price. The dealer is counting on the fact that you're already there, the truck's already apart, and saying no feels hard. Saying "let me think about it" is always allowed, and it's often worth $1,000. Number 1. The most expensive ripoff on this entire list, and the one that saves you the most money to refuse. This is when the dealer quotes you a huge, expensive repair before trying the cheap, documented diagnosis that GM itself published. Let me give you the 2 examples I saw over and over. First, transmission shutter. Your truck develops a shutter, and the dealer comes back with a quote to rebuild the transmission, $4,000 to $6,000. But GM has published service bulletins for exactly this. On the 8-speed, the 8L90, the shutter fix is a fluid procedure in Bulletin 18-NA-355, a triple flush with the correct Mobile 1 LV ATF HP fluid. On the 10-speed, the 10L80, it's Bulletin 25-NA-369, using the correct Dexron ULV fluid. That procedure runs $300 to $500, and very often it clears the shutter completely. The dealer quoted you a $6,000 rebuild before trying the $300 fix GM designed for the exact problem. Think about the size of that gap. It's not a little markup. It's the difference between a used car payment and an oil change-sized bill for the same complaint. And the maddening part is that the cheap fix isn't some backyard trick. It's GM's own published procedure for that exact symptom. The dealer has the bulletin. He has the fluid. He has the machine. He just makes a lot more money rebuilding the transmission than flushing it. So unless you ask, the flush never comes up. And you should ask by name. Walk in and say, "Before we talk about a rebuild, I want the shutter fix fluid procedure from the service bulletin." The moment a service writer hears you name the bulletin, the rebuild quote tends to soften into, "Well, we could try the flush first." That's the whole point. They'll try the cheap fix if you make them, and skip it if you don't. Second example, the oil pressure message. Your dash throws a low oil pressure warning, and the dealer quotes you a reman engine, $3,000 to $7,000. But there's a documented bulletin, PIP 4786A, that points to a clogged valve lifter oil filter screen, a cheap fix. And before anyone replaces an engine, the real pressure should be verified with a mechanical gauge, because it might just be a bad sensor. Quoting a $7,000 engine before checking a cheap screen and verifying actual pressure is the most expensive shortcut there is. There's one more layer here that can save you the entire bill: goodwill and warranty. A lot of these big-ticket failures, lifters, oil consumption, transmission shutter, are the subject of extended warranties, special coverage adjustments, or goodwill assistance from GM, especially if you've got service history. The dealer quoting you full retail on a repair that GM might cover or partially cover is counting on you not asking. So before you approve anything with a comma in the price, you ask two more questions. Is this failure covered by any warranty extension or special coverage? And will GM consider goodwill assistance on this? I've watched those questions turn a $7,000 quote into a few $100s out of pocket. The dealer won't volunteer it. You have to know to ask. So here's the ironclad rule, and it's the single most valuable thing in this video. Never, ever approve a 5-figure or even a 4-figure repair until the cheap, documented diagnosis has been tried and ruled out first. Ask the dealer directly, is there a service bulletin for this symptom, and have you tried it? If the answer is no, that's your answer. This is the one that protects you from the biggest checks you'll ever be handed. Ban it every time. Put simply, the bigger the quote, the slower you go. A $300 mistake stings. A $6,000 one changes your year. So the more expensive the repair, the more you owe it to yourself to demand the cheap documented diagnosis, the warranty check, and a second opinion before a single wrench turns. Dealers move fast on big repairs because speed is on their side and hesitation is on yours. Slow it down, ask the documented questions, and most of the time the monster bill shrinks to a manageable one, or disappears entirely. And understand why this one sits at number 1. Every other repair on this list costs you hundreds. This one costs you thousands. Over and over, across the life of the truck. Because the big mechanical failures are exactly where the gap between the cheap fix and the expensive fix is widest. Master this single habit. Cheap documented diagnosis before expensive repair, every single time, and you'll save more money than the other 4 combined. It's the difference between an owner the dealer loves to see coming and one they know they can't rush. And that reputation follows you. A shop that learns you check the bulletins, verify the diagnosis, and ask about warranty coverage simply stops trying the shortcuts on you. You train them to deal straight, and that's worth money on every visit for as long as you own the truck. So there they are. 5 repairs I banned from my own invoices, and 5 you should ban from yours. The routine injection cleaning, the premature menu flushes, the aggressive engine flush, the whole assembly swap, and the 5-figure fix before the cheap diagnosis. And the rule that ties them all together: always demand the cheap, documented diagnosis before the expensive fix, and remember that due on the dealer's menu is not the same as due on GM's schedule. And if you want the real maintenance your truck actually needs, with the intervals that prove what it doesn't, that's my GMC Blueprint, 1 PDF, no mechanic, no lift, links in the description. Hit subscribe. Next week I'm naming the one repair the dealer overcharges for the most. See you then.